learning a language until the intermediate level is easy, and today I'm going to show you why and how you can do it. Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to see together why, number one, learning a language until intermediate level is quite easy and I think most people can do it, and number two, how can you do it. Let's get into it. So number one, why is it not so difficult as people want you to believe to learn a new language, especially until like an intermediate level? In parentheses, when I speak of intermediate, I'm talking about the CEFR Common European Guidelines, that is equivalent to B1 and B2. So like the intermediate stage of learning a language before you get into the advanced. Personally, I think it's very easy, and there are a couple of reasons why. Number one, when you're learning a new language and you're in the beginner or the intermediate level until you're in the middle of the intermediate level, it has such a quick ROI, like a return of investment, which is basically whatever time you put into it, it gives you back that so quickly. And you can understand that you're improving so fast. And this helps a lot because usually having motivation is you have the dopamine of feeling like you have succeeded in doing a task, and that gives you happiness, and that happiness gives you motivation, and the motivation gives you energy to do the task again, which gives you more happiness, and it's a cycle, right? So you want to keep that cycle, but it's really easy to keep it when you're intermediate, because every day when you learn a new topic, you know a new topic. It's not like where in advanced levels you have to be very specific about exceptions, you can't make mistakes. But in the intermediate level, the world is your oyster. And the good thing is you see how your improvements are making a difference on your everyday life. Because now you can understand people better, now you can connect with people better, now you understand the content that you used to not understand. And all of this really helps motivate you. Number two reason why it's so good is something called the honeymoon phase of learning. A honeymoon phase is usually the first, varies for different people, but for me personally, usually the first 3 to 6 months of doing something new. Learning a language, playing chess, whatever it is, the first 3 to 6 months are your honeymoon phase. Now, a lot of people see the honeymoon phase as something negative. They see it like, oh, when the honeymoon phase is over, then you would know that it's actually not that easy and actually it's not fun. But I see it as you have a ticket to an open buffet and it gives you time, like it gives you 6 months of time. And in that time, you need to be eating as much as you can. The honeymoon phase is going to end at some point, yes. When you're still in it, it hasn't even ended. So why would you be afraid of it ending, you know? In the honeymoon phase, what my goal is to maximize how much I can learn. Because when the honeymoon phase is done, then it's gonna get some real motivation to keep going. So my advice is, when you're in the honeymoon phase, so you are watching this video, maybe you just decided this week or last month to learn a new language or relearn something that you knew like 10 years ago, whatever it is, if you're in the honeymoon phase, don't be scared of it and don't look at it negatively. It's a great thing to be in, right? It gives you so many positive feelings, and you can use that positive feelings to enjoy stuff and to learn. In your honeymoon phase of learning a new language, which is your beginner to beginning of your intermediate, try to get as much data in as possible and also as much production out as possible. Always remember, if you can speak a couple sentences in the first week, that's super impressive, right? If you can speak a couple sentences in the 6 months, is it really as impressive? No, it's not. You need to be using your time in the beginning to be as impressive as you can for yourself, because your brain understands where you're doing something cool and it gives you that response and that dopamine hit that keeps you going. Now let's get into how can you maximize your honeymoon phase with language learning and how can you actually get I have 5 things you need to take care of if you want to learn a language in the honeymoon phase and fast as possible. And also without putting so much effort. I learned it with 3 hours per day, so I mean, it's not that big of an effort. It is still an effort though. Anyways, number 1 and 2, they're the same. Grammar and vocabulary. People, I don't believe in the people who say you don't need to learn any grammar. It would just come to you from the sky. It doesn't. I don't really think it does. Even native speakers go to school to learn grammar. It doesn't fall from the sky. You need to learn that. So grammar and vocabulary makes a lot of sense to learn them early on. Why? Because when you learn the grammar and when you learn the vocabulary, you see how it's working. You see where the sense of it is, instead of just trying to guess. Imagine if the first day you wanted to learn math, they told you just to guess what each of the symbols do. That's nonsense. No one goes to school to be like, okay, I don't know if this is like the add or the subtract symbol. I'll just guess. No one says that. So you need to be learning the rules and you need to be learning the vocabulary and the grammar. That's tools to help you. You know, a lot of people have so much fear of grammar and vocabulary, and also they link it to being boring and stuff. It's really not. If you think grammar and vocabulary is boring, it's probably because you're not making enough sentences and you need to be making more sentences. So for each vocabulary or grammar that you learn, make a sentence. When you try to make more sentences, at some points you enter what we call the flow, like a stage where you just want to write more, and that's beautiful and beneficial. And at the end you get a dopamine hit, which will make you more motivated. Another thing that's very important as the vocabulary and the grammar, is input. Now, input can be two things: comprehensible input, incomprehensible input. My opinion is that both are actually very important. So everyone talks about comprehensible input, that is basically the input that you understand 70% of, and 30% is new to you and your brain can attach it. Good, but too slow. If I want to learn something in my honeymoon phase, I am not going to be happy with something that gets me there slowly. I need to see results like yesterday. Otherwise, I don't get my dopamine hit and my motivation just drops. So, comprehensible input is good. Also use incomprehensible, interesting input. So, for example, say right now you're really interested in this specific field that you like. Maybe I am interested right now in marine biology. This is a scientific topic, and a scientific topic that if I really want to learn about, I need to have like a C1 level of understanding in French. Do I have a C1? No. But I'm still gonna watch it. Because it's fun, but also I can't comprehend it completely. It's okay. If I get like 2 words out of it, I'm so happy. And that's what's important to me personally. So a good mixture of incomprehensible input and also comprehensible input. For me, that good mix is maybe 30% comprehensible and 70% incomprehensible. You can fix that to your own liking. The more incomprehensible input that you have, the better, because your brain wants to learn those new stuff so that it can unlock the knowledge that you want to learn. I think using your languages as a way to carry you to get some information instead of looking at them as your destination is really beneficial. And also, at some point your brain will understand that you really want to get this and it will unlock it for you. A lot of people say, oh, I don't know how I learned English. I just woke up one day, it was in my head already. That's how. Because you were engaging with the English content, was not your level, because you wanted to know what those people are doing and what they are saying, and at some point your brain was just like, okay, I guess I need to learn that, you know? So this is really helpful. Number 4 is related to the previous point, is maximize your fun. As mentioned before, you are in your honeymoon phase. This will not last long. So you need to be having as much of that honey as possible. If it's fun to doom scroll, do it in your target language. If it's fun to watch YouTube videos about internet dramas, do it in your target language. It's fun to watch the new housewives of LA, do it in your target language. Whatever it is that you call it your guilty pleasure and you don't want to do it because you think that's a waste of time, do it in your target language. Give your brain the chance to have the maximum fun and dopamine hit. Give your brain the possibility to release dopamine when learning languages. It should not be that you feel good after you learned it. It should be feeling good when you're doing it. That's what's important. Tip 5 is to recall, and recall. The knowledge that you put in, whether it's grammar, vocabulary, input, does not matter at all if you don't recall. Because why do you need to learn this? You already speak a language, or maybe 2, or maybe 3. Why do you need your 4th one? You don't need it. This is what your brain says. If you want to convince your brain that you actually do need it, you need to be talking it. You need to be recalling it. You need to be writing it. You need to be producing stuff. You need your brain to be working on it and be like, oh, I guess she really needs this language, then I have to learn it, right? Because if you don't recall and if you don't produce, then your brain has absolutely no need to learn that. Why would it waste so much good glucose and energy to learn that? But if you recall, then it's a necessity, then it would do it. And that's how you can learn it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you had any questions, leave them in the comments, and I see you later. Bye bye.